A big night tonight for the city's top three mayoral candidates. Curtis Sliwa, Andrew Cuomo, and Zoran Mondani are hitting the debate stage. Our Glenn Schuck has a preview.
Ben Max is a political analyst with New York Law School. He says Andrew Cuomo must go on the attack against Mondani during the debate. If that happens, though, he expects Curtis Sliwa to actually lay low.
I think Curtis Sliwa is rightfully expecting a lot of back and forth between Mondani and Cuomo, and he is probably going to look like something of the adult in the room, or at least try to, and say to New Yorkers, look at all this bickering. I can be a leader for New York.
As time winding down here towards Election Day and early voting just 9 days away, the question is, will this debate, or the final one next week, change any minds? Glenn Schuck, 1010 wins, 92.3 FM.
New York Democrats scored a win today at the state's top court as it upheld a new law switching local elections to even-numbered years. In our area, that will impact Nassau and Suffolk counties, including local races happening this year. For example, if someone is running for a position in 2025 that would normally have a 4-year term, it will be truncated to a 3-year term, up for re-election in 2028. The ruling does not impact New York City. Police are searching for the man who robbed a woman at gunpoint in broad daylight at a subway station on the Upper West Side. Police say it happened yesterday at the 86th Street B and C Street station just after 11:15 in the morning. A 57-year-old woman was near the turnstiles and was approached from behind by a man who police say put a gun to the back of her head and demanded her money. He then fled the station. The woman was not injured. The man was last seen fleeing on a bike down West 88th Street. Police have released images of that suspect. They're asking anyone with any information to call Crime Stoppers. Commuters and lawmakers alike aren't too happy about President Trump's comments yesterday about the fate of the Gateway Tunnel project and its funding.
How serious do commuters take it when the president says the Gateway project is terminated?
I don't know why he wants to do that, but, Trump's going to be Trump.
Delays get in the way of life, says Jamie Morrison, who works a hybrid schedule in the city.
Missing key work days or being late can mean lost opportunities, diminished productivity, and increased stress.
Not to mention missed family time. Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill, who fought for Gateway, says work is not stopping yet.
We still have some funding left, but once that runs out, which would be in a matter of months, then we start to pay $1 million a day.
If President Trump is serious, the next stop would be the courts. Mac Rosenberg, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
A teacher on Long Island has been suspended after making what officials call disturbing comments on a live stream. In a letter to parents and guardians, the Shoreham Wading River superintendent says the elementary school teacher has been removed from the classroom and banned from school grounds. The incident has been reported to Riverhead Police and referred to Suffolk County for investigation. The district has not yet released any of the details about the comments or the platform involved, only that the teacher will remain out pending the outcome. We've got sunny skies right now, 57 degrees in Manhattan. We get to a high of just 59 this afternoon. It's a little bit cooler than it's been. It's mostly clear tonight with a low of 44. And tomorrow for your Friday, plenty of sunshine again. Still pretty cool. We get to a high of 62 degrees in the city. And it's time now for Bloomberg Money Watch.
The world's largest furniture seller is having a tough time adapting to the new look of the business. President Trump's tariffs on imported furniture ranging from 10 to 50% kicked in this week. And now IKEA tells Dow Jones it's unable to absorb higher customer costs entirely, as it did during the post-pandemic inflation spike when it famously slashed prices on its bookshelves and bed frames. IKEA warns that at least some cost increases from tariffs will get pushed through to the customer. I'm Andrew O'Day, Bloomberg Money Watch on 1010 wins at 92.3 FM.
1010 wins.
When I need to know.
Traffic versus no traffic. So it's yours to know. Otherwise, you're thrown off by like an hour. Helps me get to work.
1010 wins.
92.3 FM.
Fighting poverty in New York City every single day. Visit Robinhood.org. 1010 wins because we're better together. Good afternoon. I'm Linda Lopez. Wins News Time, 1:30.
Good afternoon, I'm Kevin Rincon. As the ceasefire holds, at least for now, Israeli officials say they have identified the remains of 2 hostages returned from Gaza. Inbar Heyman was attending the Nova Music Festival when she was killed October 7th. IDF Sergeant Mohammed Al-Atresh was also killed that day while fighting. Israel has accused Hamas of not holding up its end of the deal. due to the slow release of deceased hostages. But Hamas and the Red Cross say recovering the remains, that's been a challenge because of how badly Gaza has been destroyed.
Senior U.S. advisors now saying that the fragile peace deal does seem to be holding and that Hamas is making every effort to return the remaining hostages. But aid still isn't flowing freely into Gaza either. But in a sign of President Trump's commitment, the advisors also saying, look, there are going to be hiccups. The intention is to keep both parties working together, getting them to show restraint and creating the right conditions for demilitarization and also redevelopment.
Correspondent Ian Pam. Wins News Time, 1:31. Let's get you to where you need to go with Greg Rice.
Well, here is what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Not great on the inbound George. You've got right lane construction on both levels. 40 minutes on the upper, 30 on the lower. West side, the best of it out. Do not get cute and go over to the east side. You've got the left lane construction either way on the FDR on your east 116th Street. Southbound's loaded out of the 130s. Northbound from 23rd Street. The ride in Brooklyn to BQE, the usual mess either way to the Brooklyn Bridge. Then the eastbound ride stays bad to the Kosciuszko Bridge. That's because of eastbound construction on the BQ with the Kosciuszko in the right lane. Nassau County, it's an eastbound wreck on the southern state, and the left lane, a slow ride from Peninsula Boulevard. Southbound Meadowbrook coming down to Hempstead Turnpike, left lane construction. The southbound Wantagh State Parkway going to treat you a whole lot better. Here's the ride right now at the Lincoln, pretty good into the city. Outbound Lincoln's all right. Holland, no more than a few minutes in. Outbound an extra 15 now. The Throgs Neck and Whitestone Queensbound are getting worse. RFK either way, you got a whole lot of extra brake lights. Citybound Midtown Tunnel, Brooklyn bound Brooklyn Bridge, a bit extra slow. Greg Rice, 1010 wins at 92.3 FM.
A check of the AccuWeather forecast with meteorologist John Fear.
Mostly sunny out there this afternoon. Definitely a little bit on the cool side, but really for October, not a bad day at all. A little bit on the breezy side as well, up into the upper east. And mostly clear tonight. Breeze dies off a little bit. We're down to 44. Most suburbs will be down into the 30s. And not out of the question, there's some frost and some of the colder spots. And then sunshine for tomorrow. Still on the cool side. The high 62. We'll warm up a little bit over the weekend. Clouds and sun Saturday up to 65. Sunday, sunshine and some clouds. We're up near 70, and it looks like we'll see some rain Sunday night, maybe a couple of showers left over as we head into Monday. Right now in Central Park, got 56 with sunshine going up to 59 in Midtown. AccuWeather meteorologist John Feerick on New York's weather station, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
A group of fifth graders getting a glimpse of the future with the help of AI.
1, 2, 3. A lot of screams, smiles, and excitement here at Plaza Elementary School as students ripped off the paper over photos of themselves doing their future career choices. Madison is 10 years old.
You want to be president?
Yeah.
Why do you want to be president of the United States?
I think I'm very smart.
And Matthew dreams of being a voice actor. He pretended to be a dog for a cartoon.
Do me something right now, or else I'm going to boycott you.
Love it. Lynette O'Brien is the teacher who put this all together.
Them being able to see themselves gives them that dream.
Sophia Hall, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM in Baldwin, Long Island.
2 bright green comets will be lighting up the northern sky this week, and it shouldn't come with the need of a telescope to see them. Its closest pass around on Tuesday for Comet Lemon, the Comet Swan just a day earlier. Starting today, they may be visible in the pre-dawn and post-sunset dark skies. Both the comets are coming from the far edge of our solar system. It should look like faint, fuzzy patches near the horizon. Astronomers say it's rare but not unheard of to see 2 comets at once. The U.S. Treasury Department winding down production of the penny, and some retailers are running into problems as a result.
Some retailers have run out of pennies and can no longer make exact change, so they're urging customers to pay with plastic or a phone payment app. Others are rounding their transactions to the nearest nickel. Wake Forest University economics professor Robert Waples supports the end of the penny, a 1-cent coin that costs 4 cents to make.
Even if we could produce the penny for free out of thin air, it's just a waste of our time, and our time's valuable. Time is money.
Several Federal Reserve Bank sites have already stopped fulfilling orders for pennies.
Correspondent Michael Wallace, earlier this month, a number of national retail groups wrote a letter to Congress urging clear guidelines on how to move forward. They called for legislation to round transactions so it's easier to give exact change and to facilitate check cashing at stores. Gwyneth Paltrow, not a fan of the author who penned her biography. In fact, she's calling her a hack. More on that in 1010 Wins Entertainment News. Time now for 1010 Wins Entertainment News. But stranger things coming to an end. The stars are hoping it won't be a repeat of how folks reacted to Game of Thrones. Speaking to Time magazine, Finn Wolfhard said everyone was pretty worried when they went into filming, keeping in mind how Game of Thrones was torn to shreds over its ending. But Wolfhard says once they read the script, those concerns went away. 4 episodes will hit Netflix the day before Thanksgiving, 3 more on Christmas, and then a movie-length season finale on New Year's Eve. Gwyneth Paltrow slamming the biography that came out about her earlier this year. Says famous men like Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, they get esteemed journalist Walter Isaacson to write theirs. She got, quote, a hack. Speaking about author Amy Odell. Among her issues, the book addressed the infamous allegations that she stole the script from Shakespeare in Love from Winona Ryder.
What's that? I heard you were hurt. Poet of no words.
Paltrow said Odell totally missed everything. It's badly written, and it's just sexist. The city never sleeps. Neither do we. All News 92.3 FM, always here when you need us.
The News Watch never stops. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Good afternoon. 56 degrees with sunshine in the city at 1:40. I'm Kevin Rincon. Here's what's happening. The mayoral election in the city, 19 days away. 9 days away from early voting. Tonight, the 3 major candidates will share a debate stage. A summit in the city today with the hope of getting rid of untraceable 3D printed guns. Guns that have turned up on our streets involved in crimes. It's Domestic Violence Awareness Month. The mayor, the police commissioner, marking it by announcing a new NYPD unit with hundreds of dedicated investigators. Time running out to catch the Humans of New York art installation.
By being here, you are a part of it. And so I would love for as many New Yorkers to be as part of it before it closes on Sunday as possible.
It's at Grand Central. At the Yankees' end-of-year press conference, we're learning a few players nursing injuries, including Carlos Rodon, who could miss opening day. Right now, 56 degrees with sunshine, breezy for the rest of the afternoon. Mostly sunny, a high of 59. At 1:41, let's get you to where you need to go with Greg Rice.
It's getting worse across the Hudson River, city-bound to George Washington Bridge. 40 to 60 on the upper, 30 to 40 on the lower. Both inbound decks at the George. You got the right lane work west side. That's the best of it out. East side of town, the FDR loaded either way towards East 116th Street with the ongoing left lane work. It's causing the northbound traffic from East 23rd Street southbound from the 140s. Inbound Lincoln's all right. Outbound Lincoln Tunnel on the Helix, you got at least one right lane down with some emergency Port Authority activity. Outbound Lincoln, you might get into the tunnel just fine, but between the outbound tunnel and the outbound Helix, you are going to lose an extra 20 minutes. Holland Tunnel, well, the outbound ride an extra 20 to begin with. Inbound an extra couple of minutes off the Skyway. The Newark Day is better. Queensbound, Whitestone, Throgsneck, and RFK all bad out of the Bronx. It looks like right now, the lesser of 3 evils is going to be the Whitestone Bridge. Bronxbound, the Throgsneck and Whitestone, they'll do the job. Citybound, Midtown Tunnel, Brooklyn-bound Brooklyn Bridge, they're all bunched up. And in Brooklyn, looks like a westbound crash on the belt approaching Coney Island Avenue. It's got you slow from Flatbush Avenue. Greg Rice, 1010 Win at 92.3 FM.
Wins News Time 1:42. Zoran Mamdani, Andrew Cuomo, Curtis Sliwa, the 3 major mayoral candidates will share a debate stage tonight, 9 days before early voting.
2 general election debates, the one tonight and another next Wednesday. And could there be a scenario that Zoran Mamdani loses his front-runner status going into Election Day?
For Cuomo to win the election, because Sliwa has to drop out. It's an arithmetic issue here in terms of assuming he gets Sliwa's vote. Or he has to contribute to forcing an error, a blunder in Mamdani's performance in the debate.
That's Robert Shapiro, a professor at Columbia University. He says Curtis Sliwa, who's third in the polls, his strategy, he feels, will be to sit back and watch Mamdani and Cuomo slug it out, hopefully boosting his own chances. Glenn Schuck, 1010 Wins, 92.3 FM.
Stay with us. We'll have team coverage of the debate tonight. 3D printed guns have become a major problem over the past couple of years. They're untraceable, and some say they could become a bigger threat than ghost guns. That's the issue at the center of a summit happening in the city today, led by advocacy group Everytown for Gun Safety. Policymakers, 3D printing industry leaders, academics, law enforcement officials, all on hand to try and find a way to confront the growing threat. 3D printed weapons, they're not manufactured or sold through the firearms industry. and neither 3D printer companies nor the platforms that host gun blueprints. They fall under the authority of the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, leaving most of the prevention work to voluntary action and legislation. During this Domestic Violence Awareness Month, Mayor Adams joining the police commissioner to announce the launch of a new NYPD unit.
Today, we are making a promise to domestic violence victims that your city will do everything possible and in our power to break the cycle of violence. And with the creation of the new NYPD domestic violence unit, we are going to do just that.
The unit will have around 450 domestic violence investigators operating across the 5 boroughs. Adams says it'll be the largest unit of its kind anywhere in the country. The Trump administration cannot strip $34 million from New York, funding that was set aside for the NYPD and MTA for counterterrorism efforts. A ruling today from a federal judge who referred to 9/11 in delivering the decision. Judge Lewis Kaplan says New York's transit system has been the target of no fewer than 8 attempted terror attacks since 9/11. With New York remaining a prime target, those protections are needed. FEMA tried to cut the funding over New York's sanctuary city policies, but the judge says Congress never said there could be immigration-related terms or conditions on this particular funding. A new Medicare portal giving seniors conflicting information.
When the open enrollment period for Medicare Advantage plans began yesterday, the Washington Post found a new directory of doctors and which insurance plans they accept was filled with errors. Some providers are listed simultaneously as in-network and out-of-network. Misled seniors could end up having to pay out of pocket for their medical appointments. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services tells the Post it is working quickly to address the errors. About 34 million Americans are enrolled in Medicare Advantage plans this year.
Correspondent Michael Wallace. The Justice Department taking aim at another prominent critic of President Trump, former National Security Advisor John Bolton. This afternoon, the DOJ will reportedly present a possible criminal case and seek a grand jury indictment against him. The charges are reportedly related to his handling of classified documents. Bolton worked under Trump during his first term, but later became one of his fiercest critics, notably describing Trump as unfit to be president in a memoir he released last year. There are only a few days left to catch the massive Humans of New York installation at Grand Central.
Dear New York has completely transformed the cavernous station into a work of art.
To me, it's a beautiful love letter to my city.
The exhibit in Vanderbilt Hall is made up of portraits of New Yorkers and their stories, also projected on the station's 50-foot-high marble walls.
The entire station has been transformed. You really can't avoid it.
The artist Brandon Stanton said Dear New York is by people, for people, and about people.
And by being here, you are a part of it. And so I would love for as many New Yorkers to be as part of it before it closes on Sunday as possible.
Marla Diamond, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM at Grand Central Terminal.
When Terminal 6 opens at JFK Airport next year, travelers will get to dine and drink at P.J. Clark's, Brooklyn Brewery, and 4-5 Coffee Roasters. The Port Authority announcing today another round of dining options that'll be available at the new terminal. They'll join Medoro, Brooklyn El Blend, Di Faro Pizza, and others. The first 6 gates of the new terminal open next year. Full construction will be completed by 2028. Your DoorDash order may soon be delivered by an autonomous Waymo vehicle.
They're testing it out in Phoenix first with Waymo's driverless Jaguar SUVs only delivering orders from DashMart, which is DoorDash's own convenience, grocery, and retail store. But that's expected to expand over time. But because there is no driver, your order won't be brought to your door. Instead, you'll have to use the app to unlock the vehicle's trunk and go grab it yourself.
Correspondent Stacey Lynn. The Yankees are going to be down some players on opening day, potentially. Manager Aaron Boone telling reporters today left-hander Carlos Rodon had surgery this week and the recovery will take a while.
Probably when you build in all the ramp up and the throwing program into, getting him ready to be a starting pitcher, probably delays him potentially a couple weeks to start the season.
Shortstop Anthony Volpe also underwent surgery. Boone says he can start hitting in 4 months, but can't dive on his shoulder for 6 months. Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, they're in the clear. Garrett Cole, meanwhile, could be available not far after opening day. This holiday season shaping up to be a record year for travel. Aviation analytics company Cirium says bookings for travel during the Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays are up compared to last year. 2% higher for Thanksgiving, 1% higher around Christmas. Airlines have added nearly 500,000 more seats for the Thanksgiving travel period compared to last year to accommodate what is expected to be an uptick in demand for flights. Steve Jobs changed the world with this announcement.
Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone.
Now he'll be featured in some change, the $1 coin. That story coming up. First at 1:51. Let's get you to where you need to go with Greg Rice.
Now here's what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. City-bound side of the George, still about 40 to 60 on the upper, 30 to 40 on the lower. Both inbound decks at the George have right lane construction. East side of Manhattan, the FDR crowded either way over towards East 116th Street. That's because of the ongoing left lane construction work. Southbound, the work may be gone. Now looking at the jam cams now on the northbound FDR near East 116th, they're getting rid of that. But the brake lights remain either way on the east side, and that's the bigger issue. Inbound Lincoln's about an extra 10. Outbound Lincoln 15 to 20. They got rid of some trouble on the outbound Helix, but some was left behind. Holland Tunnel 20 minutes out. Inbound Skyway extra couple of minutes. New York Day is better. The ride across the Upper East River, RFK sluggish either way. Throgsneck Queensbound is a mess. The Whitestone right now, considering all of it, it's going to be the best option you've got in either direction. Through Brooklyn Belt, brake lights west from Rockaway Parkway now all the way out to Coney Island Avenue with a crash. More westbound Company to Bay Parkway. Eastbound loaded up to Erskine Street. Greg Rice, 1010 wins at 92.3 FM.
A check of the AccuWeather forecast. Meteorologist John Feerick.
Plenty of sunshine out there for this afternoon. The sun, though, having trouble warming things up today. Definitely feeling a lot more like fall. The breeze will top out at 59 in Midtown. The breeze dies off a little bit tonight, so we'll have a pretty chilly night. Mostly cleared down to 44, but most suburbs will be down into the 30s, and there could be a touch of frost in some of the colder spots. And then sunshine for tomorrow. Another cool day up to 62. Warm up a little bit over the weekend. Partly sunny for Saturday up to 65. Sunday, sunshine mixing with some clouds. We're up near 70. We could see some rain then as we head into Sunday night. Maybe a couple of showers left over as we head into Monday. Right now in Central Park, 56 and sunny going up to 59 in Midtown. AccuWeather meteorologist John Fear on New York's weather station, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
A high honor today for a tech pioneer.
We are calling it iPhone. Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone. And here it is.
Steve Jobs, the legendary co-founder and CEO of Apple, will be appearing on a special commemorative $1 coin. It'll depict Jobs as a young man in a moment of reflection sitting in front of a quintessential Northern California landscape. Jobs was 56 when he died of pancreatic cancer in 2011. The coin will cost $13.25 when it goes on sale next year. The first American Pope has not lost his passion for his hometown team.
He may live at the Vatican now, but Pope Leo still keeps up with his beloved hometown baseball team. The pontiff didn't hesitate when a fan of those other guys from Chicago called out to him from the crowd in St. Peter's Square. Video from Vatican Media shows him chiding the Cubs enthusiast from atop the Pope-mobile. They lost in Italian and English. The Cubs went down to the Brewers in the National League Division Series, and the Pope's White Sox lost another season, finishing with the worst record in the American League. Deborah Rodriguez for 1010 wins.
Today is Naomi Osaka's birthday, and to celebrate, she's getting a bobblehead from the National Bobblehead Hall of Fame and Museum.
Having more females in the sports realm, I think is important to represent. We have some WNBA players, and Naomi Osaka is going to be a great addition to that collection.
The co-founder and CEO, Phil Scolaro. Osaka has won 4 Grand Slam singles titles, made history as the first Asian player to be ranked world #1 in singles. The bobblehead available on their website. Time now for Bloomberg Money Watch.
A month after Whirlpool accused rival appliance makers of cheating on tariffs, federal investigators say they have found no evidence. Whirlpool said South Korea's LG and Samsung and GE appliances owned by a Chinese manufacturer had undervalued their products to pay tiny tariffs. For example, Korean washing machines valued early this year at more than $800, suddenly worth $70. Dow Jones reports the feds concur with customs brokers who said incidents of undervaluing were likely data entry errors. I'm Andrew O'Day, Bloomberg Money Watch on 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM.
WINS FM and HD1 New York. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
More people get their news from 1010 Wins than from any other radio station in the nation. Arizona's our service aide, Justin Schrager, is at the editor's desk, and I'm Kevin Rincon.
All news, all the time. This is 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM, New York.
Good afternoon. 58 degrees under fair skies at 2 o'clock. I'm Larry Mullins, and here's what's happening. Tonight's the night. Zoran Mamdani, Andrew Cuomo, Curtis Lewa squaring off for the Gracie Mansion and City Hall sweepstakes. It's the New York mayoral debate, and 10 Wins has got it covered. Stand by a minute. Downtown, they're calling it the largest in the nation domestic violence unit ever. Mayor Adams, Police Commissioner Tisch announcing an initiative to offer help for survivors and enhance officer trainer and deliver justice for domestic violence cases. The family of a man shot and killed by police on a traffic stop a few years ago, suing the NYPD now, saying the force isn't doing enough to discipline the cop involved. They're accusing Commissioner Tisch of looking the other way. President Trump on the phone with Russian leader Putin today ahead of his meeting at the White House tomorrow with Ukraine leader Zelensky. Looky-loos are wondering, could another peace agreement come out of these meetings like Gaza? And they call it the Humans of New York, and it's an experience that has taken over Grand Central for a minute now. Well, it leaves on Sunday. Those who've been down there say, you don't want to miss this, so get to stepping. And while you're at it, draw closer to your radio. The news is about to start. AccuWeather is mostly sunny skies, breezy and cool. Get to a high of 59 degrees. Let's get you where you need to go now. Wins News Time 201, and here's Greg Rice.
Here is what you need to know about the bridges and tunnels. Citybound, the George, about an extra 30 to 45 on the upper, 20 to 30 on the inbound lower deck of the George. The west side, that's the best ride. That gets you out of town. We're on the upswing, though, on the east side of town. The earlier construction gone on the FDR. The left lane's been reopened either way. Coming over towards East 116th Street. Still, though, northbound FDR, very messy from East 14th Street, southbound from the 130s. West side continues to win out. Northbound Deegan, best home from the Bronx. Lincoln, no more than about 10 in, 15 out, 20 to 30, though, home at the Holland. Inbound Skyway is a bit slow. Newark Bay is better. Out of the Bronx, RFK, Whitestone, and Throgs Neck, all a bit slow. It looks like right now the Throgs Neck has turned into the best bet in either direction. Eastbound B3 at the Kosciuszko Bridge, you got the right lane working, you got the brake lights all the way on back to the Prospect. Westbound belt after Knapp Street, the crash is gone, but not the slow ride. That's still there from Rockaway Parkway. Greg Rice, 1010 Wins at 92.3 FM.
And we begin this afternoon with the debate stage for the New York City mayor's race. It happens tonight at 7, and 1010 Wins has planned team coverage. They're doing it beginning at 7 on NBC4 tonight. Democrat Zoran Mamdani will try to protect his front-runner status. Independent Andrew Cuomo will try to use one of his last chances to sway voters and reestablish his political career. And Republican Curtis Lewa will try to convince voters to split the two and allow him to rise to the top of the ticket. We hit the streets of New York to get the early bird assessment of these three.
Absolutely. I'm definitely voting for Cuomo. I have a crush on him.
No. I think I know who's going to win already.
Yes, vote for Zoran.
No.
I'm just so sick of it. I just want to see the end and hope that it's a good outcome, but I'm not going to watch it. I don't want to be depressed.
Of course, the White House has weighed in even before the debate, with President Trump threatening to arrest Mamdani, to deport him, and even take over New York if Mamdani wins. By the way, Mamdani is a naturalized U.S. citizen. Of course, Mamdani will have to do a bit of distancing from previous comments about police, about Jews, etc., while pushing a better economy for the lower and middle class here in New York. Governor Cuomo has painted Mamdani as a, quote, dangerous leader who would lead the city into financial and social ruin. Cuomo's numbers picked up after incumbent Mayor Eric Adams got out of the race, but it still wasn't enough to overcome Mamdani's. Meantime, Curtis Lewa, hoping to upset deeply blue New York. He picked up almost 30% of the vote when he last ran on the GOP ticket 4 years ago, but this time he's counting on Mamdani and Cuomo to confuse the heck out of everybody so he can rise up in the middle. We'll do some advancements here starting at the 3 o'clock hour, and our coverage heats up starting at 5. We'll follow through from beginning to end. And again, this is the first of at least 2 debates. There's another one next month. Stay with 1010 Wins for the very latest. We are in for a busy night, everybody. A terrible accident in the 108 this morning in Queens just before 9. A poor guy run over by a truck and killed. Strangely enough, police say the man was actually lying under the truck for some unknown reason, and the driver of the red and white box truck hopped inside, pulled off, running him over. Cops say he kept going. The victim died at Elmhurst. They're still looking for the truck driver. They don't even think the guy, or knew if the guy even knew that somebody was under his truck. This was at 5920 Borden Avenue, by the way, if you know anything about it. Police are looking for 4 people, meantime, who set out on a robbery spree, which started September 6th. That's when one of them asked a 73-year-old woman near East 153rd and the Grand Concourse for directions and ended up making off with about $4,000 cash from her purse, along with about $2,000 in jewelry. Police say they also gave her a piece of paper with an unknown substance on it or something. A similar incident happened September 11th, same area. They say the victim passed out shortly after getting the paper with the unknown substance. They say these folks worked the area through September 26th, where they convinced a 45-year-old woman to go to her house and give them $3,000 to cash out a lottery ticket. A red Hyundai Sonata, a gray Honda Accord, and even a taxi was used as a getaway car by these folks. Says 2 women and 2 guys are involved. So far, they made off with about 10 grand, 12 grand if you count the jewelry. If you know anything about it, they want you to call Crime Stoppers at 800-577-TIPS. Well, the latest controversy du jour out of the White House now, as lawmakers in New York and New Jersey fuming today. It's the Gateway Tunnel Project. Donald Trump is renewing his calls to put a sledgehammer to it by stripping federal dollars out of it.
How serious do commuters take it when the president says the Gateway project is terminated?
I don't know why he wants to do that, but, Trump's going to be Trump.
Delays get in the way of life, says Jamie Morrison, who works a hybrid schedule in the city.
Missing key work days or being late can mean lost opportunities, diminished productivity, and increased stress.
Not to mention missed family time. Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill, who fought for Gateway, says work is not stopping yet.
We still have some funding left, but once that runs out, which would be in a matter of months, then we start to pay $1 million a day.
If Trump is serious, the next stop would be the courts. Mac Rosenberg, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
The administration had already said it was freezing infrastructure funding for projects like the 2nd Avenue subway extension. Wynn's family critics say once again Trump is weaponizing the federal wallet, punishing sanctuary cities, dissing political enemies, with one person calling the move another distraction away from the Epstein files. The brother of Alan Felice, the guy who died after being shot by police during a traffic stop in the Bronx 6 years ago, says he's feeling a certain kind of way because NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch, he says, hadn't taken any action to get rid of the cop involved. And so now he and his family are talking about suing. Lieutenant Jonathan Rivera contends that he fired, believing that Rivera was about to run over a fellow cop during the stop. Well, a report from the Attorney General's office filed in 2020 concluded that there wasn't enough evidence for Rivera to have committed a crime. Sammy Felice says the commissioner has failed to consider new evidence, including a hearing officer's new claims about the incident. Now he and his family are suing.
Transparency nor accountability is in the forefront of what it needs to be put out. And it's not only something that my personal community should be aware of, but that the entire city of New York should be aware of.
Yeah, he wants the Manhattan Supreme Court to void the commissioner's decision not to fire Lieutenant Rivera. They're also asking the judge to order Rivera's termination and to accept a recommendation handed down by an NYPD trial judge who reportedly found Rivera guilty of an admin proceeding of first-degree assault. 1010 Wins has reached out to the NYPD for comments. Turning overseas now, and there's word President Trump will get on the horn with Vladimir Putin sometime today ahead of tomorrow's meeting with the head of Ukraine.
President Trump will talk with Russia's Vladimir Putin today amid Ukraine's push for long-range missiles. The president's due to host Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelensky here at the White House tomorrow.
He would like to have tomahawks. Everyone else wants stuff, and we have a lot of tomahawks.
Putin has said providing missiles that would let Ukraine strike deep into Russian territory would